check it. Test, check, 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 check. Test, hey, check, test. Okay, on this.
minds. The gates of IIT Bombay is proving it true. The stars of yesteryear, the alumni of IIT Bombay today, are the beacons of the shining spirit of IIT.
Hi, my name is Advait Kurlekar, and I am currently having the privilege and honor to be the chairperson of IIT Bombay Alumni Association. Our Alumni Association is over 20-year-old in a 60-year-old organization, and currently we have 35,000 alumni members as our life members.
In 2001, the IIT Bombay Alumni Association, IITBAA, was born out of a commitment to forge lasting ties between the institute and its alumni. A passionate volunteer board of directors drives IITBAA's mission to build a powerful interconnected community by connecting alumni, supporting students, and keeping the IITB experience alive even
Everyone, I request all of you to please take your seats. We'll be starting soon.
And every student who has walked out.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 24th AGM of IIT Bombay Alumni Association. May I request all of you to have your seats, please? So we have many milestones to celebrate this year. We established 3 new chapters in Canada, 1 chapter in Europe, and 2 chapters in India, the Lucknow and the Jabalpur chapter. Project Evergreen was completed, and we also had a strong fiscal year. A and its staff is also involved in many new initiatives as the Time Bank project, the Legacy project by a couple of 97 alums, the IITB Alumni Leadership Initiative being driven by the former HF President Mr. Anil Chirsagar. We have a full agenda to go through today, so I don't want to get in the way of our A chairperson, Mr. Advait Kurlekar. Without further delay, I would like to invite Mr. Kurlekar to deliver a welcome address and present an overview of IITBAA activities. Mr. Advait Kurlekar.
Good evening, everyone. Interestingly, there are more people online who have joined than what I'm seeing in front of me. That's a change in times. So for those who I have not had a chance to meet, my name is Advait Kurlekar, currently chairperson of IIT Bombay Alumni Association. And I've been on the board for the 4th year now, so 2nd term, 2 more years to go. And it's been a great journey for me personally as well as with my colleagues on the board to be part of AA. Last couple of years, whatever I've known, even before I joined the board, I've seen the Alumni Association evolve from what it was to what it is now. And I'm sure it is going to move from places to places because when we came on the board 4 years ago, we had a great legacy to carry on. And I hope that the same legacy we are able to. Sometime back, we had this, somebody asked me, I was actually getting interviewed in a podcast, and I was asked this question that, what makes you work for IIT Bombay Alumni Association? And because as we know, all of us are working on a purely voluntary basis. And the only answer I could think in terms of is the camaraderie and the association and the emotional bond and involvement that we all of us have in terms of with the institute. And that makes us individually, personally, professionally, and along with our colleagues, friends, stronger, and the Alumni Association much stronger. And therefore, each face in this room, as well as online, there are about 100 odd people there. All of us represent some important milestone in our own individual journeys. Now, what the Alumni Association has been doing and what it will continue to do has various facets to it. We all of us are aware in terms of different activities that it does. Like, of course, once a year AGM, we have a couple of board meetings every year. We have a variety of RUs. But I'll have a presentation. I'll take you through that in terms of what are the different ways in which we have been working for the alumni and as a conduit between alumni all over the world and the institute for the benefit of alumni, students, and the staff. One more thing that I want to put this is that because it's voluntary, sometimes we forget that, and many of us forget that we also have a daytime job. And there are some people sitting right here in front of me who have gone far beyond their call of duty in working towards the Alumni Association. Like I said, we have been fortunate to have a great legacy of alumni activity. We are in our 24th year now, which means next year we all are aware of our SGRUs. Next year it is Alumni Association's SGRU. And therefore, there are a host of things that we should plan together in terms of what we should do. And in its 25th year and next 25 and 50 and 100 years of the Alumni Association. So tonight, I'm going to invite you to sort of imagine what we can do for the Institute. A lot of people say that, okay, what do I get from the Institute? And my common answer is that, hey, all of us have got far more than what we could afford, what we could imagine in the 4 years, 5 years, sometimes 6 years we've spent, depending on whether we are UG, PG, only PG, whatever, of what the Institute has given us. And thankfully, by the grace of God, all of us are in a position where we now can start contributing back to our alma mater. Many of our alumni have greatly contributed, and there are only 3 things which I can say. We can contribute in terms of our time, we can contribute in terms of our talent, and of course, we have to contribute in terms of our treasure. So 3 T's that we will talk about. I'll quickly take you through a quick summary of the recent activities, last year's annual activity report for alumni. That will give us a quick feel in terms of who we are, what do we do, and what can we do moving forward. Not working. Back. Yeah. So, like I said, we've completed 24 years last month in July. We are in our Silver Jubilee year now. Alumni Association has 9 elected boards. Every year we have an election. Sometimes 1, sometimes 3, sometimes 4, depending on the number of vacancies that are left. And therefore, we have 5 nominated, what I call executive board members or executive members. We have 12 advisory board members. Most of them have been past presidents or have played a phenomenal role as far as alumni activities are concerned. We have 4 nominated members, essentially the institute, the deans, etc. As of now, we have close to 44,000 life members, and the life member fee, as it stands now, it's just 5,000 plus GST. I'm saying plus GST because I don't know what the GST Council will say, whether it's 5 or 18. So it's going to be 5,000 plus 5 or 5,000 plus 18. So as low as 5,000, one can become a life member. There are about 70-odd thousand alums of IIT Bombay. 48,000 nearly are life members of alumni. When we talk of the alumni ecosystem in the Institute, Alumni Association, of course, is there. Our counterparts in the US, HF is there. The Dean ARC and the DRF, of course, from the Institute side. And many of you may not know, but there is SARC, which is Student Alumni Relationship Committee. So between these 4 organizations is what comprises the alumni ecosystem for IIT Bombay. And as many of you are there and from different vintages, what we remember of IIT and the student, number of students, the UG-PG mix, that is dramatically changing as we speak now. And therefore, even with this 48,000, as you can see, there are a large number of, dual degree, postgraduate and PhD students as part of that 48,000, and about roughly less than half, just about half, who are undergraduate students. And that is, of course, changing year by year because the texture of the students studying in IIT Bombay is changing year after year. We have 27 active chapters all over the world, I would say. There are 16 in India, and there are 11 outside. Like Deepthi mentioned in her earlier opening remarks, we just had new 3 chapters in Toronto, 1 in Europe, 1 in UK, international chapters, and 2 in India, which are relatively new chapters. And therefore, our alumni community and the official chapters are increasing day by day. Now, a couple of years ago, at the board and advisor level, we had what is, in companies, we have strategy offsite. So even at the board and advisor level of Alumni Association, we had a strategy offsite a couple of years ago. And we said that can we channelize everything that the alumni does all over the world into what we call the 5 pillars around which every alumni activity should be there. And we came out with these, and we are trying to ensure that all activities at the HO level as well as individual chapter levels are around one or more of these activities. And these are very straightforward, very, very linked to what our charter as Alumni Association is. First, of course, is networking. We are here to ensure that all our alumni are networked within each other at a chapter level, across chapter levels, and more importantly, networking between alumni and the institute. Second is engagement. There are a large number of activities that we do both at the central as well as chapter levels for alumni engagement. 3 is the impact projects, what I call the legacy projects that all of us have contributed in time and money and effort. And between the Dean ARC's office, DRF and AA, we ensure that these impact projects get implemented the way they were intended to. The 4th pillar is about knowledge and education. While we passed out in IIT many years ago, or some of us are recent alumni some years ago, we continues to remain as students for life, and therefore we have taken upon ourselves to ensure that there is sufficient amount of knowledge and education imparted within the alumni for refresher courses, for things that are new, and I'll talk about them in terms of what we've been doing. And last but not the least is professional development. That could be mentoring. Unfortunately, our director here couldn't come be here today because of the convocation happening in the institute. But he always, he has coined the term everybody, everybody. So a buddy for everybody. Everybody, a buddy. That means, seniors like us should have mentor, we should provide mentoring effort to the current students or young alumni in terms of their professional development. So these are the 5 things around which we want to sort of focus all the alumni activities. This is the current board of members that we have. I think Manish just got re-elected. Sunay has been the most recent one. Ashok, Avishma, Nikhil, Sandeep, and Shreya. If you're there around, just if you could raise your hand so that people know. Yeah, I think Sandeep, Shreya have joined online. They couldn't be here today. Ashok is traveling, so unfortunately he can't be here, but also couldn't join online. So let me quickly take you through what do we do in terms of programs and initiatives as far as Alumni Association is concerned. So one important thing that we've been doing for many years, started out of a legacy batch, is what we call FAP, which is Financial Assistance Program. In short, we provide financial assistance to students to pay their mess bill, to pay their tuition bill, and to even help them buy the laptop that they, of course, require as part of their academic efforts. And the figures are very clear for all of us. Last year, 24-25, and I'm presenting a report for last financial year, close to 361 students benefited from this, and the numbers there are nearly 3.5 crore rupees got disbursed to these 361 students, out of which 18 odd lakhs were for laptop, and the other was 255 PG students and 100 odd UG students whom we actually benefited from this financial aid program. So that's one very, very important activity that we've been doing for a number of years. We need, of course, funding for this, and we've been fortunate to get that funding from the alumni community. The other is a retired faculty wellness fund. For a variety of reasons, faculty who retired before 2004 were not covered under the insurance scheme. And therefore, when we started this fund a couple of years ago, there were about 200 odd faculty members and their spouses who got covered. We roughly pay about 30 odd lakh rupees as the premium every year. And because this is retired faculty, retired before 2004, so you can imagine the age group of this cohort. And unfortunately, what the number we started with 200, now unfortunately has come down to 117 or so. but we will still continue to support them in terms of the medical insurance for both the faculty as well as their spouses. Project Evergreen, I hope everybody is fully aware of this. It has been the most successful alumni, and I would dare to say it is the world's largest, not only alumni funded, but alumni managed infrastructure project for any campus in the world. And I would like to take this opportunity to sort of, thank you. So the total amount raised or we wanted to raise is close to 195 CR, and we are nearly 95% there, which means we are still 5% short. And that's where the time, treasure and talent part comes in. And we need to plug this gap because, while this is H7, H8 and H21, now, whether you want to call it fortunate or when to call it unfortunate, where is Kirat? You want to call it fortunate or unfortunate? But, that has set a benchmark as far as what alumni can do for the institute. And I know the Dean is there and DRF is here and they're looking up to us for the next projects that come up. Could be H6, could be H9, could be H1, 2, 3. And I reckon that we might need to start calling it Evergreen 1, 2, 3 or some other brand name. That's why it was called Evergreen. There are a couple of people here in Evergreen. Kirat, of course, a big round of applause to Kirat for all the things that he's done. Where is Zen? Zen, if you could stand up. That's one more thing. Manish, Sudhir. I don't know whether I'm missing anybody, but more importantly, of course, HF. Nobody's here right now in person. And Dean ACR and DRF's office, who all have contributed hugely to the success of Evergreen. Now, I think this project was handed over in April to the institute, and students have already started staying there. And the first feedback that we got from them was just out of the park. I think people are very happy in terms of what they're getting, vis-a-vis what perhaps they were getting earlier in our current hostels. We, like I said, all the 9 board members are elected, and every year we have an election. This time there were 3 vacancies, so there were 3 elections for 3 positions. 2 of the current board members, which is Manish and Avishma, they recontested, and I'm happy to say that they got re-elected. Manish, Avishma, where is Avishma? Okay, and then of course we have Sunay Wagale from Pune EC, who's just come up as a new member. So welcome Sunay to the board of IITBAA Alumni Association. And again, we have to say a formal bye-bye to Sudhir Nikam, who has played a phenomenal role for the last 6 years as board member. So his 2 term expires today, I would say. But he won't go anywhere because he continues to remain and support a variety of alumni activities. In fact, the financial aid program that I just shared with you, he has been the chair for many years and he will continue to be the chair as advisor to AA. So thank you, Sudhir, for your phenomenal work. We have 15 advisory board members, basically the who's who in terms of our alums as well as the industry. And like I said, we have 4 nominations from the institute side. Let me also take this opportunity to formally welcome our new Dean ACR, Professor Upendra Bhandarkar. Welcome, sir. And then, of course, we have Dean SA. I'm not sure he's here today, but hopefully he's there online. And we have Sridhar Kona, my counterpart, who's the president HF. Hopefully he's also online. And like I said, the 4th part of our ecosystem is the Student Alumni Relationship Committee. So their head, who's a student, typically a 4th year student, is also an ex officio board member. So we have that connect because, while we are all alumni, current students are our future alumni. And therefore, we have to ensure that we have a great relationship with them as well. Variety of activities that happen at the central level as well as variety of chapters. The RUs that we are all known for, SGRU, JJRU, Diamond, Platinum, Ruby, several things now there. I mean, the oldest, of course, is 60 years. So, variety of activities that have been happening in the last 12 months or so. For the first time, we have a postgraduate reunion, and that close to, I think, 200 people attended that, and we continue to sort of work on that. and eventually take them to the departments or something like that, but we'll do that. We had a chapter leadership meet. Normally that's once a year, where chapter presidents and chapter EC members from all chapters come at one location. This time, although last year also the chapter leadership meet, what is in the campus, so this time was supposed to happen in one of the locations. But given that the project Evergreen handover was supposed to happen in April in campus, we decided that we will time our chapter leadership meet around the same time. And we also said the venue will be the campus. And therefore, while 26th April was the project Evergreen handover, 26th and 27th April, we had our chapter leadership meet as well. And you can see photos coming out of there. Part of the professional development and education initiatives, we have a executive education program. We've had programs on GenAI, AI for business, and things like that. These are multi-week programs. These are paid programs for non-members, and the faculty typically is our alums. And this has, created good traction in terms of professional development, education, and knowledge management as far as our alums are concerned. Vaibhav Chaudhary from Hyderabad, who's also was the EC member, he took up this initiative called the Entrepreneurship Gyan, and it has become a very hugely successful program with a great frequent cadence. And essentially, we get sometimes alums, sometimes non-alums to sort of do an interview with us on various aspects. I think the first program was related to metro and the electrification of metro, and then these are some of the more recent programs that we've had. Chapter events, more on the social side, large number of alumni events, sometimes at the chapter level, sometimes at the institute level, where the director, deans, deputy director, either the CEO of IIT Bombay Alumni Association, Dipti, or me have been present in these initiatives or these alumni meets. So, variety of programs here. YPO, which is Y Point Orchestra, which is the IIT Bombay Alumni Association Pune chapter event. They organize once a year kind of thing. We had a pivot program. Sharath was the convener of that program in January, not very far from here in Geo, and they played at the pivot evening as well. And then Rajasthan, Hyderabad, large number of chapters, Toronto, NCR, Singapore, Melbourne, Sydney. We had these events at all. We have a very robust social media kind of presence, and I would implore and invite all of you to sort of follow us on variety of social media, whether it is LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, whatever, and so that we have a better outreach for all the alumni through the social media. That's the best way to reach the alumni all over the world. While we have 9 board members, we have 15 advisory, we have 4 nominated members. Frankly, the real work that happens on the ground, it is because of the alumni office that we have, ably headed by Dipti Date, our CEO. Dipti. Neela, Jijo, if you could just stand up if you're in the room, just so that people know who you are. Raji, Samiksha, Vijay, Navjot, Pooja. So please give them a round of applause for the A office, because, board comes and goes. We just, say, ye karo, wo karo, but finally somebody has to actually walk the talk, as they say. And without the A office, we really can't do that, including today's event. So thank you, the office bearers of A. Okay, so with that, thank you once again for coming here in person, as well as a large number of people are online. And we have something more to say. And then, of course, we have a program from Motilal Oswal. So good evening, and thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Advait, for kicking off the discussion. I would now like to invite Mr. Manish Vora, Treasurer, IIT Bombay Alumni Association, to present the accounts and balance sheet for the last financial year.
Thank you. Hopefully I'll keep this short and just take questions as they come. Oops, yeah. The first time, or not first time, for a long time, A has again made some profits. for the year. And I'll just go over the numbers quickly, but let's see. Yeah, so for this current financial year that ended, we had about 1.6 crores in registration and donations and interest income. So 2.5 CR is what the total income we made for this year. A bulk of it is still registration for events like RUs and so on. But we started getting a lot more income otherwise, whether it's through investments, whether it's through sponsorships and RUs giving us money as well as admin fees and so on. So the total income is 2.5 CR. And total expenses for our year is about 21 CR, yeah. So 32 lakhs is what we ended the year with in terms of surplus. And like I said, this is like a long time we've managed to get some surplus. Thanks to Dipti as well for getting a lot of sponsorships for us and so on. So our staff salary still is around 80 lakhs, and that's the bulk of the expense for AA to run its operation and so on. Yeah. Life membership fees, that's something that we collect from all our members. That corpus is around 7.2 CR right now. And that's what is invested in FDs, and the interest also helps in running the AA operations. So I think that's, yeah. I'll just kind of talk about the interesting items and skip through most everything else. Yeah, this is the projects, various projects we run, their balances and so on. The most active projects that we have right now, obviously, is Evergreen. Yeah, so Evergreen has a separate, we kind of maintain, it's a pretty big project in terms of 200 crore project and so on. But it's coming to a close now. We've pretty much made most of the payments, and we'll wrap up by September, everything. Otherwise, in terms of AA's operationally thing, FAP is the other big project, and it has a active balance of about 2 crore right now. So we get enough money from various batches or other donations, and we disperse that money in Q2 and Q4 for tuitions, fees, mess fees, and so on. And yeah, so Evergreen balance, yeah. So the opening balance was 10 crore. A lot of it comes through HF as well. That money is shown here. And we've got 21 crores more, and we've also started paying a lot of the fees, whether it's the contractors or other fees and so on. And we ended it with about 14 crore right now, as far as AA is concerned. So I think yeah, that's the FAP balance. So yeah, we started with 1.2 CR, we got 4 crores more, and then we ended up with about 2 crores right now. So I think total disbursement was, yeah, 3.5 CR. So it's the largest year for FAP as well. I think it's gone up significantly since, 2 years back, since we started doing donations for disbursement for student laptops as well. So that's it. I want to keep it short. Any questions I can answer on financials? Happy to answer that now. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Manish. We need to ratify last year's financials. So can I have someone to propose? Devendra? Okay. And somebody to second? Okay. Now we will move to ratification of last year's AGM minutes. Can I have the AGM minutes on screen, please? No. Yeah. So they were circulated on 13 September last year, but we need to ratify, so I will need again someone to propose and someone to second. Proposed by Kirat, seconded by Devendra. Okay. So now we move to the next segment, appointment of new directors and advisors. and the Executive Council members. As most of you are aware that IIT Bombay Alumni Association elections are held in July-August. I am happy to share that Mr. Manish Vora and Avishma Matta are re-elected this year, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to Sunay Wagle, the newly elected A board member. Congratulations. On a bittersweet note, Sudhir Nikam will be rolling off the IITBAA board. Sudhir has been a long-serving and a dedicated volunteer. A is going to miss him very dearly. A round of applause for Mr. Sudhir Nikam, please. I would now like to invite on stage Professor Upendra Bhandarkar, the new Dean ACR of IIT Bombay, to address the audience. Professor Bhandarkar is an alumnus of class of 1995. Prior to taking up this role, he was the Associate Dean R&D at IIT Bombay. We are excited to work with you, sir. I also request Mr. Advait Kurlekar to come on stage and welcome the new Dean. Thank you, Advait. Over to you, sir.
Welcome everyone. As Deepthi mentioned, I am BTech 1995 Mechanical, Hostel 6. I came back and joined as a faculty in 2004 after finishing my master's, PhD and postdoc abroad. I of course became a life member promptly after that, but I never attended a single AGM. I was diligent enough to vote in all elections, but I don't think I ever attended an AGM. So this is my first AGM. I am attending here not as a life member, but as a dean, but I hope you note me down as a life member. So that's what I am right now. Okay, this is the presentation that I'm allowed 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. Next slide. Do I point this way? Okay, let me just continue as long let the slides come on along. So one of the first things that I would like to share with the alums is a gratitude from the institute for Project Evergreen. Okay, when I was a student, there were hostels 1 to 11, and hostels from 4 to 9 were really smaller rooms compared to 2 and 3. And as the student strength increased over the years, I mean, when I was a student, it was 3,000. Now it is 14,500. We were trying to keep pace with the hostel rooms, but suddenly somewhere 7, 8, and 4 had to be demolished because of structural problems. And whenever some of my classmates visited, I would often go to hostel 6 and realize that people are staying 2 to a room, 2 people in a room, and it really looked shabby, and people were doubled up till their 3rd year. So it was always a problem to have such a situation, and as soon as Project Evergreen came up, of course, the alumni were the major contributors. It was given to the institute this April, and from July onwards, students have been occupying this hostel in 7, 8, and 21. And definitely the situation has eased up a lot. A lot of students now do have single rooms. The institute is confident now that, with arrival of Hostel 4, which will now be given to the institute sometime in this semester. So by December, we should get Hostel 4 and it will have a really huge capacity. There are close to 1,200 rooms there. Okay, and even Hostel 19, which is one of the newer hostels, will have close to 900 rooms. So between all of this, okay, we are hoping that the situation will ease out. Students will have a far better time than what they used to have. And the institute, of course, has got braver. I can change. Thank you. Okay, this is the first slide, but let me just continue. The institute, of course, has become braver. The following semester, we will demolish hostels 6 and 9, and newer, much more higher capacity hostels will come. So these are some of the developments in the institute. So you realize that we already have hostels all the way till number 21. Okay. Okay, these were alumni events which were held last year. I was not really part of any of these. Professor Goody was there, but these are some of the activities that got done last year. Of course, there are a lot of reunions on campus, and we had the Silver Jubilee, Golden Jubilee, and even the PG reunion. And this year, we will have a special reunion for the School of Management. It is finishing 30 years, and all 30 batches of the School of Management have been called on campus at the end of October. So this is the slide that I was mentioning on. Project Evergreen is something that, is definitely one of the best contributions from the alumni to the institute, and it has eased out the situation to such a large extent, and the institute is really thankful to its alumni. And as I said, we are now, Hostel 4 will come back, but 6 and 9 is something that will be demolished and redeveloped. There have been, I am not just the Dean of Alumni, but there is a Dean of Alumni and Corporate Relations. We also deal with corporate entities. And some major donations have come both from alumni as well as corporates this year. And Jitendra Mohan and Swapna Sawant have donated towards SEMIEX as well as Hostel 9 redevelopment. Swapna is my batchmate from 1995, civil engineering. A very young set of alumni from the 2006 batch, I think, Nakul and Ritesh, have given close to 100 crores for Hostel 6. Our, again, illustrious alumnus, Romesh Wadhwani, has continued to donate, and this time he has made a major donation again towards the health, medtech and biosciences areas. And the last two donations, major donations between 70 to 100 crores from ICICI and Motilal Oswal, again instrumental due to our alumnus being present there. So all of these are due to alumnus efforts and huge donations that have come in during the past year. So if you see the Development Relations Foundation, which works with the Dean ACR's office, is gathering funds for the institute's strategic needs. And over the last few years, you can see how much funds have been generated every year. And if you see the bottom graph, those are the expected funds based on the MOUs we have already signed. And of course, we expect those funds to increase as we sign newer and newer MOUs over the years. And the causes that have been supported are something that you realize that, hostel and academic infrastructure is something I've already mentioned. The hostels are, a lot of the hostels are being funded through all these donations. But you should realize that the faculty strength also increased from 300 to close to now 760. We are hoping to go to 1,000. Faculty need a lot of research space, and the older research space was again crumbling and not sufficient. So a lot of new labs, new research buildings are coming up. If you come to the campus, you will see a lot of infrastructure projects going all over. So these causes are supported by these donations, a lot of centers of excellence of research. And definitely one of the biggest contributors from our alumni donors are always towards scholarships and fellowships. So not just through the IITBAA, but also through the DRF, alumni are contributing to both places to ensure that, a lot of needy students get fellowships. And this is one of the major contributions that is coming from alumni. So the other things, faculty development, I already mentioned, innovation and translation is something we are getting into. We have signed last year 41 MOUs with more than 1 crore donations, and the number of donors in the last financial year was 1,671. These are some of the recent initiatives that the institute has taken. Okay, there again you'll realize that a few of them are through alumni donations. For example, the Green Energy and Sustainability Research Hub is through an alumni donation which has come in. Whereas there are a few initiatives which are come purely from the government side. The drone initiative is something 250 crores from Maharashtra government. The Quantum and Bharat Gen initiatives, again from the central government side, these are really huge projects to the tune of 1,000 crores. So the government is definitely trusting IIT Bombay to lead some of the best initiatives in the nation. And I hope you realize this. And I was pointed out that, some of these even the alumni can contribute to. You have the necessary brain power. If you think that you can contribute to any of these, actively, you are very welcome. Please come and contact us. Okay, we'll be very welcome. We'll be very happy to take your help. The Defense Center is something that we have newly started. The BOG just approved it recently. And this is something that we'll be raising funds soon for, because this is driven in a very strategic interest for the nation. Okay, there was a need felt after recent incidents in the nation to have this kind of a center, and we are hoping to ensure that the nation's strategic needs are served by this center. Overall, if you see the impact of the alumni corporate relations on the institute, you will see there are more than 500 plus scholarships being given out. 79 faculty chairs are given out for good research. Infrastructure, close to 2 million square feet is being built. These are not just hostels, but as I said, they are research labs, new buildings for housing equipment. They are all coming up. And active R&D projects, many donors want specific research projects which they believe are the nation's needs or the world's need. So those are getting funded. These are the key strategic initiatives of the institute, and we are trying to expand our national and global footprint. You know very well that IIT Bombay stands where, has a very good ranking in the QS ranking worldwide. We already now have relationships with universities in Australia and now a new one in Japan. And the government is pushing us towards having some kind of a secondary campus in the US. So we are trying to expand our global footprint. And these are some of the research areas which the government is funding heavily. They are in smaller font, but I'll just read out: semiconductor, artificial intelligence, defense, quantum, energy transition, healthcare, medtech, traditional energy systems, and rural transformations. So the government is definitely funding this, but if some of the donors are interested in this, or if you want to contribute not through monetarily but through your brain power and time, please feel free to contact us and be part of these initiatives. Faculty value proposition: to attract faculty is something that, good faculty, we need more and more faculty as our faculty student strength increases, and this is something that is a strategic initiative for us. And teaching and learning experience is something that we are this year we have taken a conscious decision to transform the way we are doing it. If you realize, student attention span is very small, and it has become even smaller as the years go by. And we have realized that we really need to revamp our teaching style if we need to engage more students and get them interested in what we are up to. So there is a very new and big initiative in teaching and learning experience. We are going for new kinds of classrooms, new kinds of labs. Campus digitalization is a big effort. And finally, I should mention TRIST. Okay, this is something which is an extremely strategic initiative from the institute. The institute has R&D efforts. Okay, it has its own incubator sign, which you know of. It has another, let's say, a Section 8 company known as Research Park, which has, it basically what it does, an established company can rent out space there and they can actively engage with the institute. Now, in all of this, what we realize is that the faculty members take their research up to a certain level, and that to put it into the market is very tough. You need to take this so-called technology readiness level from 3 to a much higher stage, from a proof of concept to market readiness. And that is something which we were lacking. Indian industries don't want to pick up something which is just proof of concept. And more faculty members are, wanting to get and start their own companies. Okay, again, when they have such a product, they don't get willing funders. So we are hoping to send up a translational research lab, a center with various verticals in different areas, and this is something where we want to build an entire ecosystem with prototyping, manpower, etc., to ensure that this happens. And this is an initiative we are pegging a lot of hope into, and hope that the institute will leapfrog ahead in a big way after this tryst is built. So these are some of the engagements that the alumni can do from our side. As we say, definitely we look for financial contributions, but what you can do, of course, come to the campus, volunteer. A lot of students need mentoring, and you must have heard that, or you must have experienced too, that the students now have far more, let's say, loneliness problems and mental problems. They need a lot of mentorship. So if you can provide that, that is already a huge support for us. So you can do mentorship. You can, of course, lead chapter programs and be involved with the institute. And in general, contribute towards, help us get money, not just from your side, but any companies that you are involved with through CSR, R&D funding, etc. So these are definitely, as we said, put your time. If not, the other things, we will be very, very happy to have you involved with the institute. Oops. So this is the final slide. Opportunities to contribute now. Hostel 4, 6 and 9. Okay, 6 and 9 are going to come down. Alumni Center, I won't mention. I think Kavriji is here. He is going to talk about the Alumni Center. New Alumni Center is going to come up. Okay, and I hope you are going to talk about it, Mohanji. Yes. So I'll leave it to him to talk about the Alumni Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bhandarkar. The next segment of our program is the presentation of the proposed IIT Bombay Alumni Center. It might be a common concept in the Western universities, but a first-time concept in India, and an idea pioneered by our very own IIT Bombay alum, Mr. Mohan Kauri from class of 1971. I invite Mr. Kauri to come on the stage, please.
Good evening, friends. It was in 2017, a good 8 years ago, that I had this idea that IIT needs an alumni center. I felt it was very necessary to act as an interface between alumni and IIT management. Back then, there was very poor interaction between the two. And I felt, as it is very prevalent in the other developed countries, all great institutes have alumni centers, and most of their development has been funded by alumni. You take any great institute like Harvard, Stanford, or any other, they have grown basically on alumni funds. And today, our alumni are giving a lot back, as Advait mentioned, and after that Professor Bhandarkar mentioned. But I think in the coming years, we can have a flood of contributions from alumni. Now coming to the Alumni Center. We have on the campus a building which is about 65 years old. That is our main building. The designers of that time have made a design which is eternal. It is never going to get dated. The location also has helped. Fortunately, IIT has allocated a plot which has similar advantages. This is a plot near the pond. Today, Gulmohar and the other guest houses are one side of the pond, and this is exactly on the other side of the pond. At present, there is a small building which houses the staff, which is being demolished. It is only about 3,000 square feet is the footprint. And as you can see, this building is also at least more than 50 years. It has trees all around it. So the challenge was, how do you build a building without cutting the trees? We are achieving that. To go back a little, my original vision was to have a standalone alumni center. Unfortunately, due to various reasons, it could not happen. And meanwhile, IIT had to take the decision that they would build structures which are having maximum utilization of FSI because they are running out of space. So this alumni center will house not only the alumni center, which includes the alumni association, but also certain departments which have some connection with alumni, such as the Dean ARF and ARC, and DRF also. This is the location. It is when you are coming from the main gate, just before the Gulmohar. This is the junction at which the present building stands. This is the road which leads to the lake. This is the view we will get from the Alumni Center. I'll quickly go through these slides. On the top two floors, we are going to have a VIP guest house, which hopefully will be at least 4-star, if not 5-star. And then we have an alumni lounge, which will be kind of a club where alumni can come and chill basically. Then below it is the Alumni Center, 2 floors. Then the Dean ACR and DRF, 2 more floors. And then we are going to have a fine dining on 1 floor. These 2 would be something which we really need in IIT. Some of the floors are yet to be decided. Then we'll have a business center, and on the ground floor we'll have a museum and a donor wall, of course with the reception. This is a typical floor plan. Each floor can seat about 120 persons. This is including some meeting rooms, some cabins, cubicles, etc. This is, of course, nothing is finalized. This is the lounge. This is the guest rooms. Each floor will have 13 rooms. I would like to request alumni to kindly contribute a little towards this project because we still have a gap. It's going to be about 150 crores. Now I'd like to share my personal reasons for doing this. And I think each of you should have the same reason. Everybody says that we have benefited by being in IIT. I go beyond that. Most of the people that come to IIT come from middle class families. But after they enter IIT and graduate and later, because of the IIT education, they are able to offer their children the comforts and opportunities which they could not have really given unless they had studied in IIT. And therefore, it goes much beyond. And therefore, I think it is necessary not only for the alumni to be grateful, but I think their families should also appreciate this. In my case, I have my entire family's backing, and we intend to create a trust which will continue to support IIT in the next generations also. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As I mentioned earlier, one of the major milestones of this year was the completion of Project Evergreen. Most of you do not need any introduction to Mr. Kirat Patel. Now his name has become a synonymous with Project Evergreen. I request Mr. Kirat Patel to come on the stage and address the audience.
Good evening. Hopefully this is the last time I have to talk about Project Evergreen. Students have moved in, the hostel has come alive, and I'm going to take just 5 minutes to run you through how this project happened over the last 4 years. As the dean pointed out, we had an infrastructure problem. People were sharing rooms, government financing had changed, and the institute needed help. It started with a small idea. I lived in room number 103, Hostel 8, A Wing. And I had met Professor Subhash Chaudhary at a coffee shop on the way to the Jaipur chapter meet back 5 years ago. and the flight was delayed and we were having a coffee. And he told me about the problem, and I said, look, I don't mind paying 5-10 lakhs if to rebuild Hostel 8 and my room, you know. I did not think at that time that 5-10 lakhs in one room would land up to a hostel with 834 rooms with 1,100 students. But that's life, you know, it takes you where it takes you, you know, I think. So, initially, of course, we were not very confident. Nobody had raised this kind of money. The concept of, at that time, we thought it was about 120 crores, 110, 120 crores. And we didn't think it was going to happen. But so we split it into two parts. The first part was 5 crores to design and get the tenders done and all that. That was it became fairly simple. 26, 27 people, good friends, some whose arms we twisted. And again, we raised the 4-5 crores very quickly. And we said, let's look at it in that 18 months while the drawings and the permissions and all the structural engineering and all is being done, we'll see what to do next. And in that period of time, we managed to raise another 50 crores. So this is the last get-together when Hostel 8 was still around. The last hurrah, it took place in November 22. June 23, the land was flattened, there was no hostel, and we broke ground. The first coconut was broken by a batch of 1962 Jugal Tandon. The last one was the General Secretary, current General Secretary, Student Affairs, the girl who was the General Secretary of 2023 batch. Oops, sorry. So as I said, by the time we broke ground, we had 50 crores already in the bank. The project size at that time was estimated at 187 crores. But we said, let's go ahead. In these 2 years, we'll raise the rest. So these are the timelines of the physical construction. December 23, plinth level. July 25, 3 hostels were ready for occupation. The 26th April function, when some of you were already there, was the unveiling of the thing. It was not completely ready for occupation, but most of the hostel was done. How did this happen? Because we have donations from the batch of 1962 to the batch of 2024. Almost every batch, barring 1 or 2, has donated. A student has donated 100 rupees, and then of course there are the patron donors who have donated 10 crores. And batches have donated from 50 lakhs to 12 crores as legacy projects. And they have each named various facilities inside. I would welcome all of you, whenever you're on campus, to go and visit the hostel. It's unique, you know, in its design and other things. That's my batch's Golden Jubilee. It is, by the way, the batch which has given the highest amount of money. So, there have been, it's not been easy. There have been 100 plus volunteers, about 25 of them working in construction, in marketing, in accounts, legal, fundraising, and batch leaders across these 60 batches have picked up the phone, talked to their friends, got money involved, and people have spent time. This has been a great effort spanning across all batches towards one objective. So here's the financial journey. 21 we started, 50 crores by March 23. August 24, we had 100 crores. March 25, we have 150 plus crores. It's about 1,500 donors for just one project. September, our target is about 200. Just heard that we have just done a little bit half an hour ago. We're at about 190 now. We have another 10 crores to go. We need about 6 crores more and a little more for maintenance. We'll get there in another month, I think. This is the team, the core team behind it, but there were many more people than this behind it. It was not a one-man show, it was a multiple people. So it's 3,800 square feet. It's a very large built-up area. There's 3 hostels, Hostel 7, 8, and 21. Lady of the Lake, Hostel 7 guys will remember that. Woodlands, Hostel 8 was called after the 1980s. And the new Rain Tree, which is the girls' hostel. So 1/3 of those students living there are the girl students. That's the mess which seats about 650 students at one shot. It's a huge area. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has helped in making this dream come true. And of course, this is not the end. As the Dean mentioned, Hostel 6, Hostel 9, 1, 2, 3 are all up for rebuilding. And somewhere in the little future, Hostel 5 will come up. Hostel 5 was the one which started this whole exercise because they renovated with a 5 crore project. And then we got the courage to do Hostels 7, 8, and then 21. One last little thing. What gives me joy now? I just heard a couple of things which has happened, which makes me think that this is not just a building. This building will stand for whatever, 50, 60 years. But there's life in it, and the life has already begun. There are 2 incidents which have already happened with the students who just moved in July. One of the incidents was, we had made a bell, brass bell, out of the brass fittings of Hostel 8 as a memorial to the old hostels which had been Hostel 7 and 8. It's already got stolen twice. We grabbed it back and now put it into the storeroom. The second thing is, curious student, we had this, you have these glass things in case of fire, break glass. It's already twice people have broken the glass and ran a siren with causing chaos. So this is what is going to happen in the hostel, and that is what the building was meant for. So let's hope that the students bring life to the concrete and steel which we have given them. And then they have memories, and those memories are the ones that will prompt people to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirat. The next agenda item is continuation ratification of the appointment of DSK Associates, our chartered accountants, as statutory auditors of the company for 5 years, commencing from the financial year 24-25. Can I have someone to propose it? And someone to second the arrange? Thank you. We have almost reached the end of this AGM. At this time, with the chairperson's permission, I would like to make a room for any other item of relevance. Advait, any other item? Okay. And with that, we come to the end of the meeting. Yeah. MOA? Okay. So our treasurer, Mr. Manish Vora, is suggesting that last week we had a special board meeting. We have made certain changes in the memorandum of association. He would quickly take us through the changes, and we need to pass the resolution for that.
This is just formality really, but we're making a small change to our MOA so that we can avoid increased scrutiny for all the certifications we need, FCRA, ATG, and so on. Increasingly, government is getting more strict and rejecting for random reasons, honestly. But we are, I mean, we have FCRA certification. We also have to renew our ATG now. Just waiting for it to come up. But one of the things that ATG certification doesn't like is, having foreign presence, foreign branches, and so on. And our MOA explicitly mentions about us having foreign interactions. We have chapters all over the world. So we're just making the text more generic so that we don't, have a lot more scrutiny. We are not reducing any of our functions or, responsibilities in how we operate, but just changing the text to be more generic. So while they bring it up, yeah, so these are some of the changes that I just recommended in a change to our MOA, so that it just says, we can have presence, we can have chapters and so on. It just removes the word world. So I just need board has already approved this. We need to pass it in the AGM as well. So if somebody can propose and second. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Manish. As we come towards the end of the IITBAA AGM, I would like to thank all of you for taking out your time attending our AGM. I would also like to thank the BOD members, advisors, and Executive Council members, the IIT Bombay Alumni Association staff for their tireless efforts. Last but not the least, this event would not have been possible without the generous support from the Motilal Oswal organization. We are truly thankful and appreciate their support. Special thanks to Mr. Vishal Chitroda and Ms. Mamta Verma from Motilal Oswal for all their help and support. Now we move to the next and most awaited segment of the evening, Thoughts on Wealth Creation in India. I now request Mr. Jayesh Faria from Motilal Oswal to take the proceedings ahead. Audience, please be patient. Shri Motilal Oswal ji will be here in another 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jayesh. I'm part of Motilal Oswal family. Glad to be here today. Thank you very much, Dipti and team and other senior people of the association for giving us opportunity to present to you guys today. We are glad to be here today evening. I had opportunity to hear all the programs, everything which you guys do. All of us who have not been part of IIT, I think we only hear the front page news, we hear about donation, but beyond that we don't hear much. And the amount of work and the programs and the kind of things which is going around, I think for me it was a good experience today. And I was looking at few of the initiatives. I think one which two caught my eye. Of course, one was that we were also participating in last year's donation which has happened. And second one was 2 million square feet of development. I think our friend is here, and I said, if it looked at anybody here, it looked like a developer's presentation saying 2 million square feet of development here is a quite remarkable achievement. And I think that's what caught my attraction. And second one was, I think this whole story about campus, and I'm glad that we have with us Mr. Motilal Oswal himself. I think the story for him also started with campus. Two friends meeting in campus, no, more than campus, I think hostel, and then becoming friends, starting business, to partnership, to private limited company, to public limited company, and now an institution. So I'm glad that we got opportunity to present to you. So I have requested Motilalji to share some of his thoughts on what has happened. Before I call him on here, just for the benefit of all of you, as an organization today, we have grown across 7 businesses. We started with research, which still remains the core of our offering. And obviously, because of the research on company, we started with broking business. So broking, we have 3 large parts. We are retail brokers. We also are institutional broker. 600 odd FIIs look at our research. Normally, people want to come to India and look at Indian listed company. I think we are among the top research houses they come to. And third is the retail, which nowadays people have got used to doing it on mobile. Then we ventured into asset management company, and our senior colleague Pratik, who's going to speak after Motilalji, manages that. We managed 1,50,000 crore of public money under our mutual fund AMC business. And then we also migrated to unlisted space. So we have a private equity business, and within private equity business, we have unlisted. We also have just starting today, I think we concluded our first deal on private credit, and we also have a real estate fund. And we have just raised $1 billion in our private equity venture to invest into unlisted companies. The fourth business which we have is investment banking. A lot of Indian companies, a lot of promoters are looking at coming with IPO, are coming with participating in public market. Some are ready, some are not ready. A lot of advice, a lot of paperwork, a lot of help needed, hand-holding needed. That's what our investment banking team does. Fifth business is housing finance, where we are into affordable segment. We give loans. Our average ticket size is between 10 to 15 lakhs, where we are helping people to buy their first houses in the retail category. And the sixth business is our wealth management business, where we help high net worth individuals, senior executives to manage their wealth. So broadly, that's the conglomerate I am part of, which was built by Mr. Motilal Oswal and Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. So I'll request Motilalji to come up and share some thoughts. Thank you.
Very good evening to you all. It's really a pleasure and in fact an honor for me and our organization to be part of this event. So thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to interact with you and share our thoughts about wealth creation. I am a big fan of IITians. I wish I could have been IITian, but I became a chartered accountant. Me and my promoter Ramdev Agarwal, we both are chartered accountants. But we have great respect and regards for IITians, the kind of innovation, the kind of problem-solving skills, And the globally name and fame the IITians have created is really a proud feel for Indians like me. And I wish you keep kind of taking the India globally to a newer heights. And definitely it will be our pleasure to work with you as and when some opportunity arise. We also recently have done partnership with IIT Mumbai. I'm sure you will know that, where we are creating the Motilal Oswal Knowledge Center as an academic center. And also we are creating the courses on capital market to share our knowledge, and also to create undergrad and postgraduate courses and online courses about the capital market. So this whole wealth creation process we have learned through trial and error can be shared with people at large. So when it comes to wealth creation, we all know that as a country, we have done very well, although we may be self-critical many times. But when we look around the globe, there are very few large economies like us who have grown the fastest and in the size. So we have the speed and we also have the size. And we all know that now we are the global fourth largest market, not only market cap, but in terms of GDP. We are fourth in both GDP as well as market cap. And our GDP is now more than $4 trillion and growing at 6.5–7%. Nominal GDP growth can be about 10% or so. And when we look at the market cap, again, we are 5 trillion plus now market cap, fourth largest in the world. And that's also growing more than 10% because there are new entrants also keep coming into the market. So when we look at the market cap and what is there for wealth creation, we look at the savings. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. So when we look at the kind of savings being generated by the economy, and we all know that India has one of the highest saving rate in the world. And when we look at the GDP, saving to GDP, we now generate, if we have about say 4 trillion, more than $1 trillion worth of saving being generated every year. And let me share that in when we look at last 25 years versus next 25 years. So one of the study created by our research was that last 25 years, India as a country has created $14 trillion worth of savings, which will be 9 to 10x in next 25 years. 9 to 10x. So it can be 125 to 130, $40 trillion worth of savings in next 25 years. So that's the kind of, I think, size of the savings in a economy which is growing very fast. And you know, where the savings can be deployed kind of on a sustainable basis, and you know, the capital market is one of the biggest compounding machine when it comes to deploy your savings. When we look at the per capita income, this may be about $2,600 per person, which is also, of course, with the GDP growth, that is also going to go up. So we feel that in next 4 years, it can be anywhere between $3,700 to $3,800, which again will create a lot of savings as well as consumption opportunities for various corporates and for the country. And when we look at that, how we look at we versus the world. So India's share in world GDP, which was 1.3% in 90s. It is now at 3.6%, and we feel it will be more than 4% in near future. So we are slowly inching up as becoming part of the global kind of, I think, growth engine. And we all know that in next 3 to 4 years, from 4th rank, we'll become the 3rd rank in terms of market, in terms of GDP. And of course, with GDP rising growth, market cap also can become very, very large. So when we look at the market capitalization and most of the kind of, I think, wealth creation happens through the stock market, the market cap actually has become 3 times in 5x, in last 5 years. 3x in 5 years. And it has become 6x in last 10 years. So that's the kind of, I think, size of the market capitalization we have been talking about that. And we feel that this will again really, I think, become double at least in next 5.5 to 6 years. So we are talking about $10 trillion worth of market capitalization by 2028 or 29. When we look at the investors, now, the domestic savings pool is hugely coming to the market. So now we can see the balance between, if I look at 4-5 years back, FIs were the dominating investors in the country. But today, when we look at the investments, the domestic institutions pie has grown bigger than the FIs when we come this year. So while FIs can be about $1 trillion worth of investments there in FIs, but now domestic institutions also will have slightly higher than them. So that shows about the balance, that we are not depending upon only on kind of foreign money or the foreign capital. So domestic industry also savings being generated in a huge way. And that's where you see the number of demat accounts. Every month, 3 to 4 million accounts are being created. Every month you see 28 to 30,000 crores worth of SIP coming to the market. Mutual fund size, Pratik is going to talk more about that, where we are about more than 75 lakhs crores worth of AUM, which is actually 6 times again in last 10 years, 5.8 times in last 10 years. The AUM at the mutual fund industry has gone up. When we look at with rising savings, of course, the middle class, which is about 80% of the population, about 70%, it will again go up to 75 to 80%. And once you migrate from 2,500 to 4,000 or $38 per capita dollar, then your incremental earnings is going to go either into the savings or into consumption. So the size of the market is becoming very, very large, even at global level. Some of the other kind of data points which really, when we look at our demographics, middle class is, as I said, 80%. India's median age is about 28 years, which is significantly lower than many of our global peers, be it China or be it US. The population, working population, including the female participation, is becoming huge. You see the financialization of savings with the formal economy becoming very large. The economy is also becoming more and less very, very formal. So keeping in view all those kind of data points and geopolitical issues, in short term, we don't know what's going to happen, but we are quite excited and bullish about India as a country that next 10 to 20 years, there's a huge amount of wealth be created in the stock market. The market return, you can look at last 10 years has been 15.5 to 16%. Means every 4.5 years, your money actually has doubled. So we feel that equity as an asset class, and there are a lot of other asset classes like structure funds. So I think there are tremendous amount of wealth creation opportunities which is there for all of us to be made. And I'm sure we all will be the biggest beneficiary out of that. So with that, I thank you once again to all of you for inviting us, and let's enjoy this journey called wealth creation. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm changing the roles here. I'm doing what Diti told me. So on behalf of, I think IIT, I will request Mr. Advait to come on stage and present a memento to Motilal ji. Thank you, Mr. Advait. Thank you, Motilal ji. Now I welcome our senior colleague, Mr. Pratik. As I mentioned, he manages 1,50,000 crore of public money, has been in the market for more than 3 decades. And as Motilal ji has rightly said, the context for Pratik to take on from here is the wealth creation. So broadly, what he's going to cover in his presentation today is the journey we had so far, and looking into the crystal ball for next 10 years. What are those data points, as Motilal ji briefly said, that, what are those opportunities? And I'm sure as IIT, as technocrats, the young generation or the people who are passing out, about host of opportunity for us Indians to invest, one, the money, and second, also become the entrepreneur from that perspective. So I welcome Pratik to come on stage and take us through the presentation. As a format, he's going to present for 30-35 minutes, and then we'll open up for Q&A. So we'll take it forward that way. Thank you.
speaks. Hello. Yeah. We'll try and keep it light. So that's a disclaimer. Saturday hai, evening hai, why make it so serious? So I was told I have to address IITians. एक इंजीनियर भाई लोग हैं, तो एक पता नहीं कि ऑटोमेटिक एक लाइन याद आई. So there we had a Vivekananda ji. He had gone to the US, and the start of the address was brothers and sisters of America. आप लोग समझ गए होंगे कि IITians में sisters बहुत कम थी. But anyway, so with that, lots have changed. I see the audience. It's way senior to me. So I hope I will be able to connect. Over time, lots and lots have changed versus what we faced when we were younger. We were a very small economy, not 10th, somewhere between 10th and 20th. We are now 4th, like people said, like Mo said, and we hope to be where US is today, 30 trillion by 47. When we were younger, ऐसा किसी ने नहीं सोचा था. The fact how we get there, when we get there is another matter, but ऐसा किसी ने नहीं सोचा था. Here, somebody has put it on the slide, we will be 30 trillion, and it looks very, very similar to where the US is just now. Now, the second thing is growth. Growth makes money. The only reason we think stock prices move up is earnings are moving up, free cash flows are moving up, and market will value it. People will make money. So, we are the largest continuously growing economy in the world that allows scale to happen. So, we are not US, but we are not China either. China mein you don't see scale happening. Okay, they don't celebrate wealth the way US does. We are somewhere in the middle. We allow scale to happen. Okay, it is also possible for us because our start point is very low. We are very low on per capita. We will be 3x. So क्या होता है when we think we are 4th? तो अपने को लगता है यार 3, 2 वहीं पे हम फंस जाएंगे. But while we are 4th, we are very poor. Will we become something like a Thailand? Will we become something like a Malaysia? Well, their per capitas are 3x to 5x ours. If we do that, from a 4 trillion economy, you get to 10-12 trillion just like that. तो हमको बहुत ज़्यादा आगे सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, and that's the journey that we undergo over the next period. Okay. Now, for everybody in this room, when we were younger, पैसे नहीं थे. And which is why every one of you want to come back and give to the alma mater. जब हम छोटे थे तो पैसे नहीं थे. हमारी जो उड़ान हो सकती थी got constrained because people did not have money. That has changed. That is changing more rapidly than we can appreciate. See, this is what Mo was saying. Now, for some reason, this doesn't show, but over our history, we may have saved as a country 12 trillion. Over the next period, from here to now, we save 103 trillion. एक और तरीका इसको देखने का, in 2008 when Lehman Brothers happened, China was the large recipient of foreign money. Now it is world's largest FPI. हमारे भी जितने भी ये Paytm, Zomato were sponsored by Chinese money, not US or European money. What happened to China, even if we say we are 15 years behind, is beginning to happen to us. And it shows in numbers. This is FPIs, they make a lot of noise, but over 2 years they have not contributed anything to the country. Minus 3.7 billion, maybe as we speak, this is 2 months old, it's lower now. Versus that, domestic money that has come into mutual funds only is 102 billion. You know, some people are already thinking, kash hum chote hote. And you know, the equity culture is catching up. Indian market in 2016 raised just 28,000 crores. Last year, we did close to 3 lakh crores. 3 lakh crores. हमारे ज़माने में जाएंगे तो उतनी SBI की बैलेंस शीट नहीं होती थी. So this is the change that is happening. Just think about the amount of dividends that are paid by हमारे ज़माने की tech companies like Infosys, Wipro, etc., to their promoters, and all of that money is seed capital for somebody else. For somebody else. So, you know, we as a country developed in a particular manner. अगर पैसे नहीं हो जेब में तो सर्विसेज करनी पड़ती है. सर्विसेज का payback is tomorrow. Right? You don't need to put anything. So we have become world's largest service economy. 50% of our GDP is services. Now we have money. Now we have money. So while yes, services will continue to grow, the next period could be also supported by, some say driven by manufacturing. By manufacturing, and it has happened across the world. Manufacturing is frankly easy. It doesn't require too good people. Masses can be deployed, you manufacture, but it requires capital. Okay. Now, when you think of manufacturing, few things have changed. Few things have changed which makes me believe manufacturing in India can grow like it has never grown before. See, I appeared for my job way back in 92, almost exactly the time when India pledged gold. So very different kind of a period, right? And when you pledged gold and you sign WTO, etc., while the start was higher, over time it just came down. In the beginning, people celebrated opening of the economy, competition coming in, better products, etc. But come 2000, the competition just became so intense that in India, money making became impossible. This is the most competitive market globally. किसी भी और मार्केट में दुनिया के इतनी गाड़ियाँ नहीं बिकती, इतनी गाड़े वाले नहीं हैं जितने इंडिया में. इतने टेलीकॉम ऑपरेटर नहीं थे. 2002 में the number of telecom licenses that we managed to sell, no other market has it. You know, just think of it. Whole of Middle East, 1 or 2 players. Whole of US, 1, 2, 3 players. Every country in Europe has 1 player. You know, we were a hyper-competitive market, and on top of it, we could not protect domestic industry because of Chinese import. They excelled in manufacturing. They smashed everything else. Now, after COVID, you know, forget China +1, but the world understood you can't shove all manufacturing into one country, because if nothing else, supply chains can break. You know, remember that photograph in the first few days of COVID, this HCQ hydrochloroquine was supposed to help COVID patients, and while we did not get it, you know, our guys had a picture taken, you know, us sending a plane load of HCQ to the US. US could get it, what about rest of the world? So every country now understands they need to diversify. Every country now wants to do more inside the country. And, you know, US says, I want to make US great again. Well, we always wanted to. So it is not protection of earlier period when you had very, very high rates, but the ability to protect domestic industry is now that much more higher. In the 2000 to 2020 period, under WTO, people would keep telling the government to put duties on imports. You had to say substance, you had to justify hurt, and only then a duty would be imposed. It took years. Now you ask for it, it happens in weeks. That's a huge difference. So that is the change, I think. With it, you have capital now, like I showed. With it, you have the market now. It is the world's 4th largest market already. Second largest, actually the largest pool of people, 140 crores of us. So really hope manufacturing goes up massively, and yes, innovation. So I thought, where do I put the last line? So India may always, labor intensive, but boss, by now we know we are one of the most innovative, intelligent people in the globe. So what about value addition? We have examples now of people doing better than anything in the world in consumer tech. We have 3 companies there, fintech, we have many there, and some of them doing stuff which is world leading. EVs, somebody from, I think, IIT Bombay putting up something like an Ola. आपको technology नहीं मिल रही है, he has gotten people from all over the world to do it. Amazing story. Solar energy, and yes, various other spaces which would be required by people as we grow more senior and the requirements change. Okay. So we took 58 years to do 1 trillion. We took 7 years to do the 2nd trillion. The third took 7 years. It had 2 years of COVID. Actually, then 5. Now 4th is 3 years, and so the journey continues. और ये तो आपने महसूस किया होगा, when we were younger, we didn't have capital. So a steel cement which was put up, we just wanted to keep doing more of it. Now we have. So from a position where we said, typewriters are good, we don't want computers. Now we embrace change, and even better, we drive change. As you start to drive change, newer spaces crop up, growth happens. When growth happens, there is money to be made. Okay, so government has been a huge support all through in a developing economy, and now even in the most developed economy globally, governments are making a lot of change. They are the change driver. Okay, at the start point, we are talking today, the macros are very good. Crude is down. We are the single largest import in the basket. $1 cheaper crude is 1.2 billion saved for the country. Currency is reasonably stable for whatever we are undergoing. Reserves are good. Current account deficit, when the problem has hit, was positive. We are in a good shape. Hence, so, and when we were younger, हमको home loan नहीं मिलता था. You had to have an LIC policy and you go and get a home loan. The first home loan that I took was 12%. 12%, and the company gave a 4% discount, so it was 8%. Now, if you look at our rates and the US rate, the gap has never been narrower. This is the change that has happened. CRR is cut, liquidity is flush in the system. Okay, and this thing shows you. So we have this thought. This is time for alpha. Alpha meaning higher returns versus the index, versus the large cap index. तो देखिए पैसे कैसे बनते हैं. I said growth. A 100 rupee thing becomes 100 rupee EPS becomes 120, becomes 150, 170, 200, and as long, so longevity is very important. The journey goes, the value of the enterprise is increasing, market over time shall reflect it. इसी को hold करते हैं market follows earning growth. So this is what it is. If you see this period up to, I have segmented it into three up till here, our so-called large caps did well. And think of it, this is where the brand sit. Lever is here, Bajaj Auto is here, Mahindra is here, Tata Motors is here. Their suppliers are here. They were doing okay. Market follows earning growth, not much increase here. This was non-existent. Okay. Now you see the hurt. This is where the brands are, this is where the big companies are. They still do a 5% increase, and from here is the legend of large caps. Here to there, the mid does 4, small does less than 3. More importantly, there is no consistency. This is 1-2-year increase, 2-year decline, 1-year increase, 2-year decline, kind of this thing. What we want for making money, I say 4 dots, 2 dots, we recognize it, 3 dots, our first clients make money, distributors look at us, 4 dots, when distributors put us on board, people make money. So 2 dot bhi nahi hai. This is the pain. If you look here, yahan to earning hi nahi hai. Ye aapko dikhta hai. This is what WTO did. And this is the change from bottom of COVID. When the world said we want to do more internally, this is the change from bottom of COVID. Now, so this is the next, so we say this, growth provides safety, not size. बहुत ज़्यादा मार्केट में लार्ज कैप होता है. अगर लार्ज कैप की बात करें तो जो हमारे ज़माने के लार्ज कैप थे, प्रीमियर पद्मिनी और हिंदुस्तान मोटर, वो आज भी होते. और बीच में भी कुछ आई थी कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनियां, वो आज नहीं है, ही नहीं. So it is continuous growth that is the only thing that provides safety, nothing else. Okay, इसमें देखिए चेंज हो रहा है. This is the index. ये हमने थोड़े दिन पहले बनाया था. 38 companies that delivered results उस समय, अभी तो सबका हो गया. Look at the growth. 15, 12, -3, -6 टाइप की ग्रोथ आ रही है. ओके. इसमें आप देखोगे तो शायद मायूसी दिखेगी. यू वोंट बी एंथ्यूज्ड. लुक एट हियर. ओके. इट इज दिस टाइम फॉर अल्फा. जैसे कि 90s में वी गॉट सॉफ्टवेयर एज अ स्पेस व्हाइल द कंट्री वाज डूइंग नथिंग. इट डिड 100% growth for multiple years and generated alpha. In early 2000s, you got a private sector bank like an HDFC, Kotak, Indus, Yes, etc., who did lot of growth for several years, generated alpha. In the same way, think of it, there was no electronics. Few years back in the market, there was no renewable in the market, there was no electric vehicle player, there was just one hospital listed in the market, and so on and so forth. There was no new tech, जिसको कहते हैं. These are spaces which have come all together and are giving what a software did in the 90s. And hence we say this is time for alpha. So hold this thought, we will use it when we showcase some bit of what we do. So some themes, people said there is money at the bottom of pyramid in the country. Yes, but the pyramid is changing shape. When we were younger, तो ये तो सब था ही नहीं. Okay, and just think of it, if people, like 1 million people here, you don't create a business out of it. But look at it here, 70% growth and you go to 1.8 and then 40% growth CAGR and you go to a sizable size. So for brands which have, premium brands who have survived, बहुत सारे मर गए. Premium brands who have survived in the marketplace, you will see very different valuation. It is because of this. Roti, kapda, makan is done. If you want to do the usual stuff, look at the consumption not growing. They measure consumption by how a liver is growing or how a Colgate is growing. Everybody has soap in this country. Everybody brushes teeth 2 times. अब तो घिस गए कई लोगों को वो ज़्यादा जोर से आपने घिस दिया एनामल चला गया. It is newer spaces which are bringing growth, premium spaces which are driving growth. Okay, and one more very broad thought. See, look at this. 2000 to 2008 was a period which was driven by capex. Everything grows, capex does more. Okay, and the flip side is consumption. Consumption relatively fell. Now, 8 to 20 was a period when capex fell, consumption grew. So, in many ways now it is similar to 2000 to 2008. ये चीजें जल्दी से चेंज नहीं होती. 2000 to 2008 is 2 governments. ये चीजें जल्दी से चेंज नहीं होती and hence in this time if we want to learn something from the past, देखो लीवर यहाँ पे भी था, नहीं चलता था. यहाँ पे when they were growth leaders is when consumption guys worked. Now they are not driving growth. Okay, happily fiscal deficit is at a good space, and while the government has said I will do fiscal correction, meaning they are left with lesser amount of money, yet they are preponing their spends. Till now capex is driven by the government. Now corporate ability is there, debt equities have fallen, their profitability is high. Now for foreigners who want to look at us, ex of US, we are the highest ROE country in the world. And US, this number is so high, maybe because of the 4 FANG companies which are there, which make a lot of money. Our ROEs are now increasing, we are not at our peak. So, so now, while there has been a worry that private sector capex is not coming up, government can only start. The next has to be taken up by the private sector. We see some bit of strength coming in for people who are doing more than $100 million of capex. Last 12 months have shown a very strong increase. Okay, now so that was the macro. Now there are many smaller themes which are happening. Some are global. So think growth, think index growth of 10-12%, and tell for yourself whether these spaces will do much more. So luxury consumption we spoke of, defense, think of it. Earlier people celebrated lower spend on defense as a part of budget. Now whole world is doing more, and India is saying we want to do more indigenously. So obviously you think growth, this will grow faster than the index. Clean energy spends, putting more coal and dust in the air is not possible. So everybody is doing more solar and wind and nuclear. So this is again something which is happening. In the US, the amount of mutual fund AUM is more than bank AUM. We have seen this kind of an increase, 30%. The journey has started. So great business, mutual fund as a business is good, but it also means capital availability for industry. It also means that we need to tilt our thoughts away from banks, which command our thought. 35% of the index is banks, into capital markets. You want an AUM based business, mutual fund. You want a transactional based business, brokers, exchanges, etc. तो ये एक और shift है. Okay. So quickly summing up, all happening here at once, rising per capita incomes, so luxury, country converting into investors rather than savers. तो पहले इन्वेस्टर्स हमारे केवल 4 मेट्रो में होते थे, फिर गुजरात में होने शुरू हुए, as the country gets richer, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra. Now, as the east is getting richer, most of our new demat openings are coming from Bihar and Orissa. Although that needs celebration. Convenience, so as people get richer, they don't want to be stuck in traffic. Very, very Indian problem. So now you get everything sitting at home in 10 minutes, if not 10 minutes, 30 minutes. So all of the guys who are doing it, very good. Now what is also happening is, while we celebrate youth, if you see our age cohorts, over 60 is the fastest growing cohort in the country. And think of it, so our generation is the generation which has accumulated money. We were born with nothing. They have the money, slogged their whole life. तब आप सोचो कि they want the best now, whatever they want. So as yet people are just thinking healthcare, but it could be many more stuff. Now this is the problem statement. We have large import dependence on oil. This is our second largest import, solar, etc. And the whole thought is, it's not sustainable, so do it more internally. When you import so much of one thing is there, market is established. So किसी को market create नहीं करना है. All that you need to do is to do it here and supply to the same market. So all of these spaces are going up massively. One thought that I have, and many of you will also agree, is in India, if you want to do something, and do it, but the road is not paved with butter. If the government wants you to do it, magic happens. Magic happens. So, in any developing country, align with the government, magic happens. Okay, changing global order is a nice way of putting it. So every country wants more of defense, clean environment. So all of these are there. Plus, if you look at China, it wants everything electric, because if you do everything electric, then you reduce the dependence for oil, right? So it is not about clean, it is about reducing the dependence on oil. Let's not mix it up. We are doing the same, we may be behind. Recycling, there is just so much of unwanted stuff that people have, so it all needs to be recycled. And yes, data protection, data analysis, automation, so all of this will lead to AI, etc., data centers, lot of new stuff happening. And these are scale businesses. Of course, people will find smaller niches to do so. So somebody did this slide, but just look at it. In all of these spaces, great growth has happened. Bigger growth is ahead. So electronics, we were not there. Now in 5 years, whatever size we are, over the next 5, the plan is to have even bigger, stronger growth. Not happening in too many places in the country. ये क्या हो गया? So we are here, like we said, next 2 trillion should happen quickly enough. This is the dream, this goes there, think of it. People, today the topic is US, India, whether US will sign up, not sign up, etc. They may be the present, we are the future. If present and the future shake hand, typically magic happens, but a lot of time they don't shake hands, which is okay. Okay. So I say, ab lot chale moment is here. This shows over the next period, the biggest growth in the world would be driven by China, followed by India. US to third ho gaya. All of this is east. So just put that. Ab lot chale moment is coming up very fast. Yeah. Now, if we see valuations, not all over the world you get value for what you put in. Valuations are highest in this country. Again, lot of tailwind for people who want to take risk, and they can be higher. Valuations have two factors, growth and discount rate. We saw we are the fastest growing, we will be the fastest growing. Discount rate, our cost of capital is now similar to US. So this is what MO was saying. We were here, we were worse in the 90s. We were not there only. Very soon we would be third largest, and if US understands in the categories they want to export, defense, food, energy, we would be the largest. So we think, to sum up, they are the present, we are the future. Do we meet and do business, or do we stay stiff? It's a trade deal, it is not a gift. So is something we should remember. So, let's see if it happens or not. But so wait, life continues. So here markets have been very strong, so-called, in face of all the onslaught that we have, but frankly till date whatever has happened doesn't impact too much in the market. So what gets impacted de facto is cotton, textiles and leather. Stuff where the whole value addition is inside the country. When you say diamonds, gems and jewelry, we get raw from outside, we polish, we send it back. हमारे यहाँ value addition on a stone of ₹1,00,000 maybe $500. Okay, the incidence can reduce if one company in the US or Europe sends it to here for job work and takes it back. Then that 50% would be on the job work. And if job work qualifies as services, there is no tax. ठीक है ना? The problem कहाँ हुई? जहाँ पे the whole value addition is in the country. Cotton is grown here, textile is made here, people who put it, stitch it are here, is where there is a problem. Problem is where you produce it from overseas, like shrimp, etc. Few spaces. वहाँ पे भी if you think in many spaces, world produces 100 units of shrimp, world consumes 100 units of shrimps. So what if US doesn't want to buy from us? They go and buy from somewhere else. Where this guy was supplying, we will go and supply. So it is more of a margin thing. Yes, 1 quarter of disruption, but more of a margin thing. Now think of what is there in the index. 35% of our index is banks. कुछ नहीं फर्क पड़ता unless you say कि there will be some NPAs because of these. These are any which ways very tiny part of the economy. Right? 15% of the index is IT. IT actually gets better because in the US people must be smiling away to glory. What would happen to Indian industry if government of India says tomorrow anybody who exports to India gives us 15% and you take zero duties from us. So manufacturer in the US today is the happiest guy. He has a lot of surpluses. So, which then means his ability to invest into IT is higher. Ceteris paribus, our IT actually improves. There are other challenges which were there even before. Then it does not cover electronics. So, in electronics, what is there? If an American company is agreeing to invest in the US, so for example, Apple has said we will invest some $300-400 billion there over a period of time, then they can source anything across the world, zero duty. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Same way, if other companies do it, no problem. It does not cover pharmaceutical, generics. So even in a US-EU trade, generics have been kept out. And the whole focus is to make US prices similar to European prices, not Indian prices. So वो भी बाहर है. These are our other two exports. As long as they are out, we are not impacted. Now, petroleum product, there is no value addition. Just because you get something cheap from Russia, you are able to sell there. Otherwise, there is no value addition in that product. Okay, coming in the last to what we do. So, guys, while everybody who does equity looks similar, we are as different as possible. As different as possible. तो अब आप देखो क्या करते हैं. See, I don't know how many of you invest in the markets and how many of you buy mutual funds. But अगर आपके पास 10 म्यूचुअल फंड हैं, most people that I know have more, but अगर आपके पास 10 म्यूचुअल फंड हैं, तो आपका एक फंड एक समय अच्छा कर रहा होगा, दूसरा फंड दूसरे समय अच्छा कर रहा होगा. बट अगर आप अपनी टोटल रिटर्न इंडेक्स से कंपेयर करोगे तो पाओगे कि यू आर बिलो इंडेक्स. व्हाई दिस हैपेंस इज बिकॉज so people have long portfolios, through one guy or the other you end up owning the market. आपके पोर्टफोलियो में अगर 500-600 स्टॉक हो गए बाय दिस स्ट्रैटेजी, then you end up owning the market and you are paying active management fees, so your results are lower than the market. ओके, प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट समझ में आ गया. तो अब जो है, अगर आप 2 खराब वालों को निकालोगे और 2 अच्छे वालों को डालोगे, प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट इज द सेम, आंसर विल बी द सेम, राइट. सिमिलरली एक और मार्केट में बहुत ज़्यादा सॉट आफ्टर चीज है, कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस. एवरीबडी वांट्स कंसिस्टेंट परफॉर्मेंस. I think of it, consistent performance is defined as index plus 2%, index minus 2%. Easiest thing to deliver. But if you have 2 consistent players, 10 तो छोड़ देते हैं, 2 consistent players, you again average index. Somebody will be plus 2, somebody will be minus 2. And your net after fees is lower than the index. ये आप जाके check करो, ये true है. Unless you are comparing a large cap portfolio with a small cap index and so on. If your index is right, this is true. And this is what is driving passivization. A much cheaper way of achieving the same is to buy passives. It's happening in the US. अगर आपको यही करना है तो we run India's largest suite of passive funds. It's available. But on the active side, if you want superior returns, let us think differently, right? So in our industry there are 2 ways of making money. One I described, earnings बढ़ रही है जोर से, और earnings जो है इंडेक्स की earnings से काफ़ी ज़्यादा फास्ट बढ़ रही है. Outcomes should be better, is what we do. The other way is a 100 rupee thing is available to you for some reason for $50. वो रीज़न जैसे कोविड हो सकता है, ऐसा लग रहा था दुनिया ही बंद हो जाएगी, सारी चीज़ चवन्नी के भाव मिल रही थी. यू बाय दैट होपिंग द रीज़न रिसीड्स, सो कोविड वेंट अवे, यू गॉट 4 years ऑफ ग्रेट परफॉर्मेंस फॉर वैल्यू गाइस. ठीक हो गया. रीज़न कुछ और भी हो सकते हैं. तो वी से इफ यू वांट consistency on your $100, give us the growth allocation. We see ourselves as India's only pure play growth in earning focused house. Growth of the order that we see is available in niches, बाकी लोग उस पर छिड़काव कर सकते हैं, they can't build pure portfolios. We say pair us with the best of value, which we will show you. To our mind are some of the largest mutual funds in the country. And then if you think it is time for growth, up our quotient. If you think it is time for value, up the other guy's quotient. We will show you, we run focused high conviction strategies only 20 to 35 minutes. अगर आपने हमारे 2 भी लिए तो आपको 40 नाम मिलेंगे, टोटल 40 नाम. अगर आपने वैल्यू वाले से हमको पेयर किया, वहाँ से अगर 80-100 भी मिले तो 140 नामों में पोर्टफोलियो बन जाती है. Still not completely optimal, but there. If you really believe market follows earnings growth, our journey will be volatile. So we say we will be consistently inconsistent, But we promise you, we build India's highest growth in earnings portfolios. Highest growth in earnings portfolios. Over a period of time, outcomes shall be good. So, the last table shows you how we have grown over past 2.5 years. We are today the fastest growing AMC in the country. Of the newer clients who are coming in, we are 5th. In some months, we are top 2 in terms of getting new people on board. ठीक है, अभी this is one slide I showed you various themes, but think of it. IITians हैं तो थोड़ा मैथ करते हैं. We want to have excess returns over index, right? Index में growth in earnings will be close to economy. इकोनॉमी आप बोलते हो 6% रियल ग्रोथ होगी, 4% इन्फ्लेशन की टारगेट आरबीआई की है, तो आप 10 पे पहुंचे. थोड़ा सा मार्जिन बढ़ा लीजिए, थोड़ा सा एग्री का वेटेज कम कर लीजिए, इंडस्ट्री एंड सर्विसेज थिंकिंग ऑफ ग्रोइंग फास्टर, द टिपिकल ग्रोथ दैट यू विल गेट विल बी अराउंड 12%. ठीक हो गया. नाउ वी वांट टू डू मोर फॉर आवर इन्वेस्टर्स, तो आप 3 to 4% का हर्डल डालिए. So 12 plus, if I put 4, 16, fees, take a round number 2, 18. Errors and omissions, गलतियाँ होंगी. If we budget for 2 errors, we are able to correct it 20% down, 1.5 gone, 19.5. Okay, and some valuation correction. तो आपका start point 20-21% हो गया. With me? अब आप बताओ इंडेक्स में कौन सी चीज है जो year after year after year, we say 3 to 5 years, will do this kind of growth. Will banks do it? 12 to 15, right? In many of our constructs, we have zero banks. Will cement do it? Will metal mining commodities do it? If the answer is no, you find them zero in our house. Will ICE vehicles do it? Zero in our house. Will IT services, large cap do it? Zero in our house. This is us. This is us. And several of the themes that we shared, and we have listed it down here, whether they will do it. So of the monies that we have found, of the $100, this is where we have. और method in madness is, थोड़ा सा क्रिकेट की एनालॉजी लेता हूँ कि वैल्यू वर्क्स, जो आपका वैल्यू का एलोकेशन है, दैट वर्क्स. इफ ग्रोथ वर्क्स, आवर पोर्टफोलियोज शुड हैव ऑल लाइन आइटम्स वेयर ग्रोथ विल बी देयर फॉर स्ट्रॉन्गर, एंड हेंस वी मस्ट वर्क. तभी आपसे आपका 50% पैसा मांग रहे. All line items where growth will be there for longer, and I developed on many while I was speaking. Okay, so this is how it is. चाहे आप हमारा म्यूचुअल फंड लो, चाहे आप हमारे ऑल्टरनेट्स लो, म्यूचुअल फंड्स आर चीपर, दे आर मोर टैक्स एफिशिएंट. वेरी सिंपल. इट इज नंबर ऑफ स्टॉक्स देखिए, 20 to 35 नेम्स अक्रॉस द हाउस. स्मॉल कैप भी हमारा 50 नामों का है. लार्ज कैप में जो आपको नाम ज़्यादा दिख रहे हैं, कहाँ गया ये, वो IPOs की लिस्ट है. अदरवाइज इट इज़ अ 30 स्टॉक पोर्टफोलियो. We do what we do best across the house. There is no differentiation between a mutual fund investor or an alternate investor. कहते हैं अगर आप alternate किसी और का लेते हो तो हमारा म्यूचुअल फंड ही ले लो. Which is what I was saying. Have 2 of us, 2 of our funds, you will get around 40 names. Pair us with the best of value, and here just see if with ICICI Pro for our large and mid cap fund, overlap is 0. 0 common. 2 0 हैं, 1-2%. कैसे भी आप देख लो, we say we are super relevant to you. Very different way of going about trying to achieve your goal, and this is true across the house. These are alternates. Our overlap with somebody else is also close to 0. क्योंकि जो कॉमन चीजें होती है ना, विच इज इंडेक्स, वो हमने पहले ही डिसाइड कर लिया कि वहां पे पैसे नहीं बनेंगे या कम बनेंगे, विच इज व्हाट आई एक्सप्लेन्ड. सो वी रन फंड्स which lot of you guys may know, like hedge funds abroad. Long only hedge fund की एक category होती है, which is a very premium construct. We do that in India on a mutual fund and alternate platform. Today we bring the tops in touchwood, but all categories, एक SOFA focused fund. Tops meaning we are rank 1 on performance. So ये 11, all of them in the this thing, 11, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. These are ranks, these are not quartiles. ये 4, 1, 1, then this is 2, 2, 1, 1. This is what we are. These are more of our funds. Rank 2, rank 1. And so these are more recent ones, but on alternates, today we bring out, so all of these are us, and this is also us. We bring out on 1, 2, top 3 are us. On 2 years, 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5 are us. And you see the small difference, and you see method in madness. We are not showing you the best, we are showing you everything. Okay. 2 products आपको दिखाता हूँ. I was told not to, but 2 products which are very different. So I showed you the laundry list. You want a large cap, we are the best. You want the mid cap, we are the largest, etc., etc. But 2 very differentiated products. One on the mutual fund side, one on the alternate side. इसको हम active momentum fund बोलते हैं. This is not distributed. It is directly sold only. Okay. Small fund, 138 crores as we speak. इसमें हम क्या करते हैं? In the growth spaces, so you have all these spaces. If there is momentum, we get it. If there is no momentum, we get out. You make money when momentum comes to your space. In a normal investing, what you do is to look at various parameters, get in a name, and then hope momentum comes. So that lead lag is there. Here, you get in when momentum starts. So you miss some bit of initial. That is the difference. Already over 4 months, while अगर आप momentum index देखोगे, it is the worst performing index versus a normal one, we are 4% alpha. दूसरा मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ एक product. So I am not showing you the usual. It is more to show you the process. So we are associated with QGLP process philosophy. We converted it into a process, into a portfolio. So this is what we do. Longevity through themes. We showed you that slide. We want all of those themes here. Okay. What you are seeing is some of the fastest growing names. You know, usually it is a 3 to a 4% portfolio. Okay, sorry. और इसमें एक और चीज देखिए, प्रॉफिट ग्रोथ 2 साल की. These are Bloom numbers. ये इंडेक्स की 10-12 जैसी नहीं है. Okay, same way, more spaces, similar flat portfolio construct. So this kind of gives you the process. We take money off the table when something goes good, etc. And same super high on growth earnings. Overall, versus the index, it is a 45% growth CAGR. 2 साल में अर्निंग डबल हो रही है. This is the construct. इसमें आपको 0 बैंक दिखता है, 0 IT दिखता है, 0 कमोडिटी दिखता है. जो चीजों के ऊपर टीवी में 1 घंटे में से 45 मिनट बातें होती है, वो है ही नहीं. This is what we do. This is why we are so different. Okay, now उसकी नहीं मैं बात कर रहा था. We are talking of a very unique product in the industry. It's got still 1 month to go, where we mix listed with unlisted. Pricing is listed. Terms are listed. And in listed, unlisted, sometimes what happens is these two names are today unlisted in the portfolio. We have said up to 30% we can be unlisted. We have gotten out of one, Swiggy, Zepto we have. Now these are at cost. So जैसे Zepto का next round of funding, maybe some of you are there, they will know, is at 7 billion, our cost here is 5.1. We are getting in more, it will become 8%. Jane is there for an IPO in September, October, we got at 6,400, the IPO would be mostly at 9,000 plus. So that bump up is available. So these are two stuffs which are very different for our house, others don't have it. So I thought I will share, otherwise जो बाकियों के पास है वो तो सब हमारे पास है. So let me stop here. Thank you so much. Happy to have any questions. Arif, thank you. हाँ जी.
Nice, sir, director, sir. You have given a fantastic vision to the engineers. Now you are collaborating with the IIT for this kind of financial. We are technocrats, but this vision is important. So there are a lot of things to be questioned, but this is not the time. So I will contact you personally. Huh? But excellent thing.
So better guy is that guy.
What is it? Oh,
Jayesh,
Jayesh, sir. We met. Yeah.
Yeah, we met. Yeah.
I have a slightly different perspective which I want to ask. What is Motilal Oswal's view on the future of IT services industry, considering this 12,000 layoffs which TCS did? Then there are some views, if you take industry veterans like the Zoho guy, or even Vinod Khosla, who says in the next 5 years, 50% of your services industry will be out of jobs. Now, have you built a scenario of all these great things? What would happen if IT industry actually does a 50% layoff? Because the entire Indian prosperity is driven by the IT industry. Bangalore real estate, commercial, residential is IT industry. So what would happen if the IT services industry decides, and it's technically today possible. If you see, many of the companies have not hired in the last 2-3 years.
Got it.
So have you built a scenario for that?
Got it. So, short answer, large cap IT, we are zero. Hello? Yeah. So, short answer is, in our house, large cap IT is zero. While I said, today the US corporates would be feeling more positive about spending. अब आप एक चीज समझो, थोड़ा सा philosophical है. What the changes will enable us to do is to do more. Accepted? Right? If you think the companies wanted to do X amount of work और उनको X ही कराना है, then what your scenario is will come true. क्योंकि now that X amount of work can be done with fewer people. But endeavor of human being is not this. Endeavor of human being is to get to our future जितनी जल्दी हो सके. भाई इसीलिए तो काम कर रहे हैं ना. If you think like that, then what you will say is, I had 10 rupees, I have 10 rupees, let me do more. If you then do more, then the outcomes are not bad. आप ह्यूमन बीइंग की बात कर रहे हो। हम लोग तरक्की क्यों चाहते हैं? क्योंकि जो चीज़ फ्यूचर में हो सकती है उसको अभी लाओ, जो चीज़ पहले राजा और महाराजे करते थे उनको कॉमन के पास लेके आओ। वी आर ऑल एस्पिरेशनल, वी आर नॉट स्टैटिक, तो जस्ट थिंक एस्पिरेशनल, outcomes are not so bad. And lastly, the good thing about India is there is no one industry which is very large, which can change complexion of one city, yes, not of the country. $200 billion IT, 4 trillion economy. इतना ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं होता है. But yes, people who are educated, so our generation fought for jobs, now people have 3 jobs, that scenario will change. ठीक है ना? But just remember, people want to get to their future faster. Outlooks will change, which is how when you got a computer, typewriters, that to I encountered. If computers come, what will happen to people? Everything will be this thing, base and base of secretaries who keep typing will go away. क्या हुआ? Done. Next, yeah. तू तो बच्चा है, चल.
Hello.
हाँ.
Sir, you mentioned that manufacturing will increase by 15x in the next.
वो किसी की expectation थी. I gave you the enablers, but yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, my question is, there was also this that services will increase by 13x to 20 trillion. So, apart from IT services, what all services can we foresee increasing in nature in India? And secondly, in manufacturing itself, like with.
तो जैसे सर्विसेज हैं, IT सर्विसेज हैव themselves changed complexion. ओके, पहले केवल IT सर्विसेज होती थी, अब तो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को भी आप IT सर्विसेज बोलते हो, राइट? इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर मैनेजमेंट को. सो दे हैव बीन चेंजिंग कॉम्प्लेक्शन. सेकेंड इज hospitals is a service. You know, in Mumbai, for example, if you get sick, pretty clear you won't get to hospital. There is scarcity. X of a Hyderabad and a Gurgaon, I don't think anywhere else you get to a hospital. So obviously it will increase, right? So services, tourism. If you have money, you want to go to nicer places, spend 10-15 days, that will explode. So if you see a Singapore or a Dubai, the number of hotels they have, one city, we don't have in the whole country. तो बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं ना. जोमेटो, स्विगी, कन्वीनियंस वाली पार्ट तो अलग हो गई, वो तो थी ही नहीं 5 साल पहले. So that is all that will drive services. And what was your thing on manufacturing? नहीं, आवाज आ रही है, बोलो.
In developed economies, we have seen that manufacturing holds a big chunk of the GDP. In India itself, if we are looking to grow to the size of being the third largest and second largest economy, so Make in India initiatives, the rare earth element mining and everything will need to grow a lot. So
Yeah.
how will services like race ahead of this manufacturing, and shouldn't manufacturing itself be the priority for this nation with the things that.
नहीं, देखो, अपने को तो देश को बढ़ाना है, जो भी बढ़ जाए अच्छा है. I said services grew first because services में पैसा नहीं लगता. You know, you work for somebody, मतलब in an IT company, even now 6 months is the payback of anything that they do. Manufacturing में पैसा लगता था, तो manufacturing में हम पीछे रह गए. Now that I showed you we have more money than before, maybe the manufacturing engine starts to crank up big time, supported by a huge market which is India. और एक चीज़ जो कहनी रह गई, we Indians like to be treated well. Chinese dance at our northern borders. एक में भुटिया मार्केट में गया था, वे चाइनीज ही माल रहे थे, बट सारे लेबल काटे हुए थे. They were passing it out as लुधियाना stuff. अगर कुछ अच्छी गाड़ियाँ नहीं बिकती हैं इंडिया में, क्योंकि पीपल एसोसिएट इट विद चाइनीज. अमेरिकन ज़्यादा दादागिरी करेंगे, वैसे ही होने वाला है. वी लाइक टू बी ट्रीटेड वेल, सो वो ठीक हो जाएगा, डोंट वरी.
Ask Pratik? Yeah. Okay, so there are 2 questions I have. One is, Of course, you showed about India, the sectors and all that, the new themes and all. Are you focusing as well on the mix between India and the world emerging market or the US?
Yeah.
Because
So
Max 7 is doing really well.
So
hopefully it will do it. So yeah, your
so
thoughts.
we have India's first offshore fund, Nasdaq fund, and an S&P 500 fund. But today they are locked. We have hit limits. So when RBI opens up limits is when one would be able to do it. Now we are putting up, hopefully over the next quarter or so, that should be there, a vehicle through Gift City. We will get in touch then. So apart from us, so everybody on the normal mutual fund route is locked. Gift City route, I think one or two people have got.
Few of them I heard
Yes.
yesterday, Gift Cities already.
So we
but
are
you,
also,
that is totally going to be focused on outside.
yes.
You have a mix.
Mix? No. No, we don't have a mix. Once again, if you look at somebody called a Parag Parikh,
exactly,
they have a mix.
They have a mix. But you are not planning to go for
सर
such
वो
a thing.
क्या हुआ जब हमारे फंड्स आए ना तब वो लिमिट लॉक हो चुकी थी.
अच्छा अच्छा.
So and second मतलब it's a blind according to us. How much do we know of them? The X of investing in those 3-4 names, आप कहाँ कितनी research कर लोगे? But still, मतलब
yeah, you may have those thoughts, but that's fine.
So one of our managers wanted to do it. We had to turn him down because there was no limit.
Okay.
So
Second
Parag
question.
Parikh is the only one who does it, और वो भी incremental नहीं कर पाएगा. So if his size of the fund increases, the US part will keep reducing. In terms of
Second was the gentleman asked you about this IT kind of,
yeah.
the risks that we have. But again, look at the positive side of it, the AI, the way it is picking up artificial intelligence. What is that you guys are doing to embrace AI? Your research.
Who is doing?
आप लोग
हम लोग हाँ
AI कैसे use कर रहे हैं
Yes,
for your research?
Yes.
Because the numbers that you showed me are great, but leveraging AI along with it, it can take you to the greater heights. That's what my point is. What is it that you are doing now?
So हमारे उसमें AI can be in two spaces. Today we are not using it, but obviously that discussion is going on. Two spaces. One is research, like you say, to crawl into all the annual reports and research reports that come. It is humanly impossible to go through all of them and provide a gist of whatever is there very quickly.
That's the past, but the future. Past meaning जो data already है आपके पास में.
Correct. So the future is to actually have a predictive power, looking at what has worked in the past. So हमारे उसमें I actually deleted a slide. There is already a roadmap to it. So whatever we guys do ना can be done through factor analysis. कि ये growth कर रहा है, ये momentum कर रहा है, ये value कर रहा है. So all of those are there. Now an engine can try and mimic what a manager is doing. So then if a manager is successful and you map it with what style will work, you can be predictive. But वो हमारे business में अभी तक आई नहीं है. It is long way away and it is very expensive because the guy who will have to do it, it is not that you model somebody in the US and the whole world accepts. You will have to model somebody in the US for US. You will have to model somebody, the 10 people in India who are very successful for India. So it is going to take a lot of time. AI में एक साल तो आपको मॉडल को ट्यून करने में लगता है.
No, I agree, but maybe offline I'll discuss with you.
And the other space that we want to use AI is for customer satisfaction, customer mining kind of stuff. So that is easier because meeting the profile of the name of the customer that we have with his ability to invest more with us and all of that. So that is something we will start very soon.
Yeah, it will help you on the CRM
That
side.
is easy.
Hello, sir. Balaji Kasal this side. Thanks for sharing your thoughts and what Motilal Oswal is doing different way in mutual fund and AI fund. I also support the idea of India moving from a savers country to a investor. That should be actually to become more capitalization, etc. But only concern I have here is I see the kind of growth you have shown, right? The amount of money is coming in the recent time to the capital markets. It shows that it's a very big jump, right? The concern I have here is it too much money following only few ideas, right? If you see the new generation companies like Paytm or any Zomato or Nykaa, they are not making money, right? The old companies still were making money. That's only my concern, like the too much money is following only few ideas, right? What is your thought on this?
Easy to answer that. Easy to answer that. देखिए अभी market बंद हो गई. Friday market closed. There is a name that was trading at $100. Okay. Now आप बताओ Monday कितने पे खुलेगा वो? Will it open at 100? Will it open at 101? Will it open at 99? There is no money that has changed hands. So this whole thought कि money makes a price is not incorrect. It happens for a very brief period. भाई कुछ ज़्यादा गलत हो गया तब तो promoter ही आके बेच जाएगा ना. Okay, is one thought. Second, you look at the amount of money coming into mutual funds and you look at the amount that goes into IPOs, QIPs, etc. Today, more money is going out than coming in. Okay, so we actually spoke of that in one of our videos. We said, and hence you should expect markets to be stable rather than moving up or etc. So that is a good, nice pressure valve that the markets have. Biggest thing in the market is sentiment. If you are feeling good, okay, buyer and seller are always equal every day. You will settle at 100 rupee 50 paisa. If you are feeling bad, you will settle at 99.50. Unless there is a desperate buyer or a desperate seller, this is what it is. Sentiment is what causes prices to move.
Thank you, sir.
I think we can take last question, if any.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Agarwal. We know that you talked about the cash market of the India economy, and I understand the cash market is quite large in size, but the derivatives market has also grown since 2020, and a lot of capital is deployed in the derivatives market. Although not too many single stocks have derivatives listed products, a lot of index products have. But what do you think of the expansion of it? Do you see that the government will be more open towards mutual funds or funds having access to derivatives so that they can have boosted returns? And what do you see that the expansion of the derivative markets, like will we have more stocks having listed options or listed products, like listed derivative products? And yeah, would you see how we can make money from there?
Sure. So, well, mutual funds can deal in derivatives. Derivatives in India are now cash settled. Like you were saying, derivative market is 3x, 4x more liquid than the cash market. So, many a times when a big fund is transacting, you won't be able to see it because the settlement happens on the last Friday of the month. So, it gets cash delivered. In the fact sheet that you get for next month, it is cash. Some cases you may, if somebody has bought it on the 29th of the month or 30th last day of the month, but typically it gets cash settled. So, many managers today buy and sell in the derivative market versus the cash market. So, that is there. Second, in balanced fund kind of a product, the rule says you have to be over 65% cash equity to get the equity taxation, which is more benign in this country, 12.5% long-term tax. So, what the managers do is to go, let's say, 80% long and you short the index by 20% to get to the number that you want. So, mutual funds can use derivatives. Third, in a cash market, liquidity is finite because, somebody comes in desperate on either side, 5%, 10%, and it is limited, you can't then, anxiety creeps in. In derivatives, there are no circuits. And by definition, liquidity increases. So actually the industry wants more names to be covered in the derivative side than otherwise. I think regulators have a way of going about it. There are rules, regulations, so they keep coming in. But yeah, what you see in the news today is excessive in the derivative market, which is causing a lot of losses to Indian investors and maybe undue profits to offshore investors who may be more savvy, may have more money at their disposal or whatever. So they want to change a few rules. It is more from the angle of investor protection. Otherwise, everybody wants volumes to move up. Government is aligned, government takes a lot of it as taxes.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Pratik.
Thank
May I
Thank you
request
so much.
Mr. Advait to come and give us present the memento to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Advait. Thank you, Pratik. Thank you very much. And on behalf of Motilal Oswal and the organizing team, I give all of you a word of thanks. Thank you very much for being a patient listener. I think the brief for Pratik was 35 to 40 minutes, but I think we went over an hour and I didn't see anybody moving. Normally, that gives an indication that, 4 or 5 people start going to the washroom, 4 or 5 people go and start stand at the back. And I was worried. And I didn't see any of that happening. Thank you very much for being so kind to all of us and listening. And I hope the presentation was interesting enough. So we are all here. Please join us for dinner. I'm here. Pratik is here. A couple of my team members are here. So feel free if you have any questions, anything more you want to know. You ask about IT sector, anything in detail you want to know. We'll be more than happy. Once again, thank you very much. And it was a pleasure being here today evening. Thank you.
I request all the alums to please gather here for a group photo of the AGM. Please come towards the stage.